What's up, everybody? Andrew here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I am with Mr. Caleb. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for being with us.
No problem.
So as y'all can see, beautiful, amazing car, the dream of many people, the mighty famous GTR 35. So talk to me about your car, sir. How long have you had the car?
Had it a little over a year now.
A year? Okay.
Had it stock for 3 days, full bolt-on for 3 months, and
3 days,
everything since. So,
wow.
The car has such a big legend following it. Like stock, it just didn't feel like it had enough for it. So,
right.
full bolt-on, it felt good, but then I was in it. So
you were ready for more.
Yep, ready for the drug. So. So I pushed it up and kept going. So. Nice.
So once you say after the 3 days, you say you went to bolt-ons. What are some of the basic bolt-ons that way people can say, okay, well, you know, this is what a bolt-on is?
With a GTR, a full bolt-on is going to be your downpipes, exhaust, larger injectors, larger fuel pumps, bigger intakes.
Okay.
Puts you around about 500 if you don't do the 85.
Okay.
So this has got a flex tune, so I can run E85 and get a little bit of free power.
Okay.
So it's about 650 at full bolt-on.
Just 650 bolt-ons alone. So that alone is not bad at all.
No, it's a 10-second car at that point.
Wow, 10 seconds. So now moving on. So once the you say I'm done with 3 months with bolt-ons. So
yeah.
Where did you go from there?
So after about a month of full bolt-on, I already put my name in for the weight. Had the engine built at Lynch Mob Racing down in Atlanta.
Lynch Mob?
Lynch Mob.
Lynch Mob, okay. Lynch Mob in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, Tim Lynch out of Atlanta. So he did full pistons, full everything but the crank. I'm still stock crank.
Okay.
So that limits me to about 1,500 wheel horsepower because of that.
That's still a large number of horsepower, guys. 1,500. Well, we'll get there in just a moment. So once you do all that, where did it go from there? How are you determining what you're after? What are your measurement points, or the way the car feels? Or
at this point, I'm racing myself. So,
okay.
Yeah. So it's just getting a little bit more, getting a little bit faster times on the quarters.
Okay.
Trying to get.
Currently, what is your quarter lap time?
Quarter. My fastest right now is a 9.1.
9.1. That's
so
fast.
It's doing all right. The car should have been good for 8s as it sits. High 8s, 8, 9s. Okay. Like that. But it's just getting the traction down.
Right. So let's. Good thing that you mentioned traction. So your wheel setup, because y'all can see it is an all-wheel drive, as everybody knows. But what is your wheel and tire setup at the moment?
All right. So the cars are actually rear-wheel drive with forward assist. So it's not truly all-wheel drive like an Audi. It's rear wheel until it needs a little bit extra, and then it'll move it to the front clutches and get it drive.
Oh, okay.
The front stock are 275s and the rear are 295s. I'm running 295s in the front now and 345s in the rear. So about 5 foot of tread overall between the 5 tires. Pilot Sports on here right now. They hold 1100 pretty well. I've got a set of 18s that I run if I really need track tires. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Nice. So can you well, let's go into the interior of the car. Can you show us the interior of the car? Is it all stock at the moment as it sits, or
yeah, it's all stock. There's nothing really to them.
Oh, listen to that sound of it, man. I think it sounds so impressive.
Pretty much the car monitors everything already. Got all your fuel pressures, oil pressure.
Right here? Look in the center console.
Everything, let's see if it'll, yeah, it's too dark. There we go. Everything's pretty much monitored, and you can switch through, go to your boost settings, whatever else, and change through it. So the car itself's got a pretty good ECU running in it.
Nice.
I just switched over to a standalone ECU, so I'm running Cybex now. So it's kind of having to reteach everything to Walt. So we're starting at square one. But.
So now we've seen the engine bay ourselves. Can you show us the engine bay so that everybody can see how good this thing looks? You can turn it on for now if you like.
I'll leave it running.
Look at this, everybody. That is impressive. Now, we talk a lot about details in the cars, and I want to point something out to everybody. Look at this plate right here, custom made, but What does that say?
It says Det Jet.
Det Jet, which is his Instagram name. We did a little show earlier of the Instagram. If anybody wants to follow, that's what it stands for.
Pretty much what this car has been from the start.
A Det Jet.
Lots of debt and driving jet.
So walk me through your engine setup. Come a little closer, Mr. Ricky. So we talk about the size of the turbos, wastegates, everything. So give us a quick rundown.
All right, so currently I'm running Boost Logic Ultra Spool turbos.
Okay.
They're 54 millimeter twins. They're Garrett G25 660 cores,
okay.
so they're good for about 1100. We're pretty much maxing them right now. About 30 pounds of boost on it. Switching over to the Boost Logic 1300X to get a little bit more out of it. That'll get me. The turbos will make well above 15, but my motor's limited. So right now I'm on a 6 injector, so I've got 1700cc injector dynamics. The new setup will be 12 injector with the 1000s on the base and these 1700s up top.
Okay.
The race port, Turbo Smart blow off valves, full racing intercooler. It's always fun taking a Sawzall to the front of your car. But that's been changed out. The radiator support's been changed out. We've got all separate oil dispersion just to try to keep everything from blow by. These cars are really bad about pushing oil, especially on ethanol, pushing oil through the turbos. So if you don't have a good setup to divert that, it's pretty much it. But,
I'm sure that a platform like this is something you want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, so it's once you start pushing that kind of boost, it pushes oil everywhere. So that keeps your intakes clean. Having that Boost Logic makes a really good setup for that too. I'm running Wiseco pistons, Manley rods, pretty basic engine build as far as the internals. Nice.
Man, I gotta say, there are several GTRs in the area, but honestly, this has got to be one of the neatest and most very well put together GTRs in the Charlotte area. So that specific horsepower number, so that everybody knows what you're pushing, what is that on your car?
Currently 1100.
Currently 1100 horsepower. That's
to the wheels.
To the wheels, not crank, to the wheels down below. So that is a crazy amount of horsepower. So all that being said, what is the future for the car?
Turbo upgrade. So
turbo
like I said,
upgrade.
These turbos are maxed. The engine and transmission, after a lot of headaches, the transmission is now built for 15 too.
Okay.
I'm on about my 8th transmission rebuild at this point. So
8.
Yeah. So it's fully built billet gears, race clutches, the whole 9. And even that was still braking. Like I said, this car is not true all-wheel drive. So when you start racing it and for launching it from a non-prepped surface, once the rear wheels start spinning, if you don't get out of it or have the engine management to adjust that throttle, it pushes all the power to the front. When it pushes the power to the front, it breaks everything. The all-wheel drive is the downfall of this car because it's a very small clutch stack. Even like the Infinities afterwards came out with about twice the size. Like this car was kind of a test dummy for that. So you break a lot of stuff when it spins. If you can keep it from spinning, big wide tires, nice sticky tread, never a problem. But and it does make a difference because when I break my all-wheel drive clutches and it's rear-wheel drive only, 1100 rear-wheel drives like a sketchy Mustang driving down the highway. So.
No, y'all heard that? Y'all heard it here. Sketchy Mustangs.
Sketchy Mustang. But so as long as you manage the traction, that's one of the reasons why we switched over to a 5X ECU. So it's got a lot more aggressive engine management, a lot more monitoring, coolant pressure monitoring, fuel pressure. If it starts to lift a cylinder head, it'll kill the throttle. So hopefully help the longevity of the car. But you're in it to break something one way or the other. So
something will forever break. I mean, that's the thing in cars, man. Whatever it is, something is gonna break at one point or another. And I feel that it's one of those things too. Once it does, then I'm gonna make sure that I'm upgraded to something better.
So with the GTR, as long as you keep it pretty much full bolt-on or less, it's pretty reliable. Once you go above that, if you're not ready to fork out 10 to 15 grand pretty quick, it gets scary. I wouldn't suggest modding one beyond full bolt-on if you don't have a little bit of a reserve.
Right.
You break your transmission, even if you do the work like I do, you're still 10 grand into it. If you have somebody else do it, you're 20 grand in. The motors, if you somehow manage to pull bolt-on, if you push them too hard, and throw a rod, then you're having to find a new block and start all over, and you're 20 grand in there too. So it's really a scary spot once you go beyond full bolt on. But like I say, I think we're finally there. I think we're finally dialed it in to the point where I'm done breaking stuff, hopefully. But a lot of learning along the way.
Right, absolutely. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go for just a quick ride around the block here, and we're gonna come back to the spot to close the video. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get on it. Let's go. All right, we're inside the car. We're gonna go for a quick just ride around, and the car is very comfortable. Everything inside is factory, correct?
Yes.
So it looks, this is the diagrams that he was talking about as far as the control, everything. That's very, very, very nice. So we're ready. Let's go. 1100 horsepower. This is the highest power car that I have ever been on. I have to say.
Drives pretty well as far as a stock vehicle.
Right. Them turbos, man, they loud.
A little bit.
A little downshift. Ricky.
Oh my god.
That is insane.
That was just like first gear.
That was barely first.
Oh my god. Oh man, that is insane. That is insane. I can just imagine when you're going hard at it, when you actually drop it down, and oh man.
Yeah, rolling boost is a pretty good fun.
Man.
So you can, instead of having to wait for the turbos to build, I can pretty much just hold cancel and let the turbos build, release cancel, and it'll take off. So.
That is wild, everybody. That is wild.
Get stopped at every light.
We were just talking.
Air conditioner still has, all the bells and whistles still.
Air conditioning, good stuff. We're in North Carolina. Summer is coming to a closing, but it's still hot. So yesterday it was raining. It was raining, stop and go, stop and go. It finally gave away. Today's hot. It's hot as hot.
Yeah, 86 right now.
86. So that's North Carolina weather for everybody. But yeah, this thing is insane, guys. Them turbos sound so good. I'm telling you. Wow. That is it's a feeling, man. It's a sensation that it's hard to explain unless you're a car guy. Man, it just feels so good, man. It really does.
I usually describe the acceleration as it almost hurts. Like if you're not ready for it, just kind of feel it in your chest. Feel the G's. It'll take about a G1/2 on a launch. So.
My goodness.
Another stoplight.
So as you guys, he was talking about, we're going through about 7 or 8 transmissions already, right?
Yeah.
So we're at now that you are at the point that you are at the moment. I mean, you're ready for that extra bit of power.
Yeah. So, like I say, I was probably ready for it about 3 transmissions ago, but there's been some learning curve. Like I say, just keeping the rear wheel from spinning. It's fun to be able to set it up, let it do a burnout, drift around, play around, but you'll end up burning out the clutches, burning out something. Once it breaks, it gets expensive. So
yeah.
Transmissions in the rear on this car. It's a rear drive axles, everything in the back. So there's a drive shaft off the front that splits to it. That's one reason that the 50-50 weight distribution, because all that's in the back. But
wow.
Let's see if we can get.
That is crazy. Oh my god. I wasn't ready.
That's a push off.
Yeah.
That is insane. That has been that is probably the fastest takeoff I've ever been into, man. That is wild. That is wild. It really hits you. I mean, once it builds and that thing hits, man, it hits you here. You're right. You were right. Wow. Wow, it is a very, very impressive ride nonetheless. So everybody, I want to say thank you for watching today's episode, taking around to this long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for taking us a ride on your car. Until next time, everybody,
buckle up
and keep tuning. Ricky.